Hi, I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Julie.
We're moms and we're super basic. We've got our drinks and we're ready to chat. Cheers.
Yours.
Today is Friday, February 12th, and we're bringing you this past week's highs and lows. But to start, we have to talk about what we're drinking.
Do we have to talk about it? Because you're not drinking anything exciting.
Well, I did. So I'm drinking Turkey Hill iced tea because I'm just like, I had I guess I called it like my cheat meal today. I had Wendy's for lunch and I feel so disgusting. Like I'm totally regretting it. And the idea of like drinking alcohol makes me like feel more disgusting. I don't know why. Like
No,
more
I get that.
bloated, gross. So I'm like, ugh.
Wendy's is real gross though too. Like that's like McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King. Like I put them all on the same like grossness
I'm really
level.
regretting it.
Yeah.
Really regretting it.
Whereas
Um,
like you could get like Panera or like takeout like that and you don't feel as disgusted.
Yeah, but so we have a Panera really close to my work, and I literally eat Panera so much. I was like, I don't want Panera. I just had Panera yesterday. So I
What
was
do
like,
you even
okay.
get at Wendy's? That's my other issue because I don't like all the stuff on like a burger.
Oh, no, no, no. I just get like chicken nuggets,
Oh, yeah, okay.
but
Yeah,
I still feel gross.
okay.
Bad decision. So I'm just drinking Turkey Hill iced tea today, but I didn't know. I thought Turkey Hill was like specific to the Northeast.
I thought so too.
It's not, because when I was looking for the image, I was like, I wonder like where it's available. Apparently, it's available in like every state.
But it was,
It started in Pennsylvania.
that's what I was going to say because that used to be like you could get that at Wawa and like that
Yeah,
was it when we were younger, right? Because I
yeah.
remember being obsessed with the Turkey Hill peach iced tea for like
Uh,
a good old stretch of high school.
yeah, it's available everywhere, so it makes me feel like it's not as much of a novelty
It's not as
as I
special.
thought it was. What are you drinking?
Just a good old rum and coke.
Oh,
So, yeah, Mike's parents gave us a bottle of rum at Christmas,
hmm,
and I had bought Mike some like Pepsi like bottles and like hid them on like the steps down to the basement so that
hmm,
like because if I had like a bigger bottle of Pepsi and it was like in the fridge all the time, the kids would like want it. So I
yeah.
just did like the individual ones. And I noticed today that there was still one like down there. And I was like, I could be in the mood for a rum and coke. So here it
Yeah,
is.
that's a throwback.
Mhm. Right. That's like my panic drink order. Like if I haven't looked at the drink menu
Yeah, and you're
and I
like,
don't already know what I want somewhere and you like need to, or like it's a loud, not that this is an issue for like the past 10 years of my life. But if it's like a loud bar and you don't want to have to like explain a drink,
hmm,
it's just very easy to say rum and coke.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So, how are you doing?
It won't stop snowing here.
Welcome
Like
to my life.
I feel like I live in Vermont, but I really live in New Jersey. So we had a storm I can't even keep track anymore. It snowed again last night. Like a lot of schools around here were like virtual today. So it just won't stop, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop in the next few weeks either. So I'm like, why?
I
I'm
think
over it.
like every time you guys have gotten snow in the past couple weeks, we also have.
Hmm.
So, but that's also very normal here in the winter. And I get that it's
Yeah.
not that normal there.
Yeah, no, this is a lot. We're getting a lot of snow this year, and I'm a like, oh, I'll take like one or two snowstorms and then I'm good.
Mhm.
So I'm just over it now. I'm ready for summer.
We had one day this week that it didn't even really have snow on the like 5-day forecast for it, and we got like a foot.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah,
like I
I
woke
have
up and I'm
to do
like,
that.
there's like 6 inches on the ground already. Were we even supposed to get snow? And it just kept going the rest of the day.
Oh no, yeah, I can't. I'm not built for that type of snowfall. Um, but I know we are both. have some birthdays coming up.
Birthday week.
Yeah, we've always, I guess, since college, we've kind of just celebrated our birthdays together because I'm on the 15th and you're on the 17th.
Yeah.
So, we're going out to dinner tomorrow night, and we have not been out to dinner this entire pandemic.
Are you going
So,
somewhere good? Is it going to be worth it?
yes, yes. We're going to like a really good restaurant in like a neighboring town.
And
And they,
just you and Kev, or
Mhm.
kids too?
No, just me and Kevin. So I'm gonna eat like a hot meal uninterrupted, and I'm really excited about that.
Yes, you can't beat that, and you deserve that.
You know, like I need this.
Mm.
Um, so that's the plans for, and like our birthdays fall on like holiday weekend too. So it's always like a weird thing when you go out. It's always like a preset menu.
Right, yeah.
So this Kevin, like last year, I know we like ran into that and we were really bummed because he had called first to make sure it wasn't a preset menu and they said it wasn't, and then we got there and it
Oh,
was.
that's the worst. I know.
So apparently as he found like reported last, it is not a preset menu.
Good.
So so that's the birthday plans. And then on Monday, on my birthday, I'm getting the second dose of the COVID vaccine. So happy birthday to me. And yeah, I hope that will be my second dose. And then after 2 weeks, I'll have like, be protected up to nearly, I think it's 95%, they said.
Nice.
So that's me. How was vacay?
Okay, so we went away last week. We went to a ski resort that's like closer to the Canadian border. It was excellent. It was just really nice to be away. Our like room condo-y thing had like a full kitchen, so we didn't have to like go anywhere. We could like, it was like ski on, ski off. So we like literally didn't have to go anywhere.
Awesome.
We did get takeout a couple nights though, so that was fun to like not have to prepare every single meal on a
Yeah.
vacation.
It
The
kind of
place
still
was,
feels like vacation,
yeah,
even though
yeah.
it's a change of scenery.
The place was like empty. I mean, we were there on weekdays. We went like Monday to Friday, and then it did start to get a little busier Friday, and uh, yeah, just like empty, great skiing conditions, fun to like not have to be home, but it also still felt safe. Like I
Mhm.
wasn't ever worried or nervous, like,
Yeah.
oh, we're around too many people, or like, yeah.
Well, and it's good that you had your own space. It's different than being in like a hotel where you still have like those communal areas that you have to go through. So it's good that you had like your own
Well, so
space.
it was sort of like, it wasn't like individual buildings. They were like stacked like three high.
Okay.
So there still were like hallways and stuff,
Hmm.
but it wasn't like we until Thursday night, like people, I guess, checking in for Friday, I didn't see another person other than like on the slopes. And at
Okay.
that point, you're so far away from them. Like I'm
Yeah.
not worried about anything. We only ride the lift together with our own family, so.
Yeah. And how was it to have like a decreased workload? Because I know you said you had some things you had to do, but not as many.
It was nice. It was good. Um, I was a little like bored almost even. Like I packed books to like
Hmm.
read. I did like ski more than I thought I would. I thought I'd like take like half day off every day, but I didn't.
Hmm.
So that was good. But yeah, it was nice. I mean, still busy, but still got everything done.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what are you doing for your birthday?
Like literally
Any
nothing.
plans?
I don't know. I don't think because, well, so I put birthday week because of course yours is the 15th, mine is the 17th, but Liam's is the 19th.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I always forget that
Yeah,
he
so I
right after
feel
you.
like I don't even think about my birthday because we're like planning for his, like ordering
Yeah.
him presents, ordering him a cake, figuring out what he wants for dinner that day. That like I'm 2 days like past my birthday and I haven't even
Mhm.
thought about my own. But
Mhm.
I'm guessing we'll get some sort of like takeout or something that I want on my birthday. It's also like a Wednesday, so even if we were going to go out, we wouldn't go out on my birthday. And
Yeah,
it's
you probably wait.
really, really hard to go out here that weekend because the weekend that's usually like Valentine's Day, President's Day is the start of winter break in Vermont. So all the schools are off and everyone travels. And where we live, the restaurants are like in a resort town. So it's mobbed. Like it wouldn't even be fun to try to go out this weekend, even if we were going to, in like non-pandemic times.
Yeah.
It's not even fun to try to go out. Like you can't even get a hotel room or anything if you wanted to come here that week. So
oh geez. And that probably
like one year we tried to go out to like our regular favorite like restaurant with the kids because I think Mike's parents had come up that weekend, and we couldn't get into the like restaurant that we used to go to all the time. We ended up just like going into like a Chinese restaurant that you're not even really supposed to like eat in at and still had to like wait forever. It was like terrible.
And I guess like because the way the vacation falls, you can't like it's like the weekend before and the weekend after your birthday. It's both ends. Ugh.
But now this year, because we went on vacation last year and we're homeschooling, I'm not giving them off of school next week. So next week, even though it's birthday week, and even though they're usually off of school the week of Liam's birthday and my birthday, we'll be in school because we took off last week.
Yeah. Sorry, boys.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a good plan because it was empty. Like I said, if we tried to do what we did last week, next week, it would be packed.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hopefully you get some good takeout for your birthday then instead.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to jump to like celebrity news, but like literally things are unfolding as we like speak. Like you texted me that you were ready to go and I was like reading a post, but we'll get to that in a couple of slides. But in that same like vein, I completely forgot, and we were just talking about it before, to talk or add a slide or pictures about the guy who was a cat on the Zoom call.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah.
And I knew that you also thought that was hysterical.
Oh my gosh, yes. I thought it was like so funny, but also the judge and I guess the other attorney on it like had like minimal reaction.
I think my favorite part about it was that they were like, "You're a cat," and like he so clearly knew and was like,
he's like, "No, I'm not a cat.
Like,
I'm alive. Like we're trying to fix it." But they were just like there wasn't even like a oh my god, like a laugh. I was like, they were just like looking.
I think that made it even funnier for us to watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was like, they have like no. Like no time for him at all, but I thought it was so freaking funny, and yeah, it was good for me. I liked it.
Yes, and if you get a chance, watch the video of it because it's really funny.
Yeah, and it's a very short clip, but entertaining. I like how like the eyes like move all over the place. He's like, because it follows your eyes, and he's clearly panicked. But if you were watching the Super Bowl this past weekend, there were several things that happened.
So I didn't watch it at all.
No?
Not a thing. I haven't seen a commercial. I haven't seen the halftime show. It really was like we don't have cable. In previous years, we've gone to like other people's houses, but we weren't doing that this year. But I figured like if anything was good or worth talking about, I'd look it up the next day. And literally, I heard of nothing worth looking at, so I haven't even.
The commercials were, I feel like there were some good ones, but I also think I missed a lot of them because kids.
Yeah.
But The Weeknd did the halftime show, which was really good. And I don't know if this is confirmed, but I did see that he like paid for it himself. Like he paid.
Yeah, I heard he paid like $7 million.
Yeah, to put it all together and have it all happen. So I guess he's like paying for, because Kevin was like, how much do you think he gets paid to do this? And I was like, actually, I don't think he gets paid to do this. And then the next day I saw that he actually paid to do it. And I was like, huh. So I thought it was really good. A really good montage of all his songs and all the memes coming out of the part where he's like in a maze.
Those have been funny.
Yeah.
But so did you find it like good or entertaining? Because I feel like I heard people say like it was fine, there was nothing wrong with it. I recognize his songs, but like it just wasn't like a showstopper. Like usually there's something like showstopper.
Yeah. So there was no like surprise musical guest, I
Right.
guess. And that's what we typically see during the
Mhm.
halftime show. Like, the music stops and someone else breaks out and it's someone you weren't expecting, but it ends up being awesome, like something along those lines. And it was just him. But I'm thinking that maybe with everything going on, like that was all they could do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that they had to kind of limit it
Yeah.
to
That
just
makes sense.
him. But he did have tons of like backup dancer, or like he had like a choir behind him and a whole like orchestra behind him at one point too, but they were in like boxes, so they were like all sitting in these like almost like a cubicle, like stacked up
Yeah.
behind them, and it was all lit up, so it
I
was
also
pretty
saw
cool.
like dancers with like jock straps on their face, but then people were saying that that was actually like their mask too.
Yeah, so it was
It
like
was
their
like they were
mask, and
doing
it was,
like double duty. Like
yeah,
they,
it was their mask, and it was like the bandages. So that's
Mhm.
something like he's been wearing for the past
Yeah.
year. And it's like part of his whole album and, his stance on Hollywood. So that was the part where like they all walked out and did this dance for blinding lights on the field. So all those guys had on like the same type of suit as him and had on the masks. So it was pretty good. He's really talented. He has like this whole like Michael Jackson kind of vibe to him with like his dancing and stuff, but um, entertaining, but not like, like, oh my gosh, like what's next kind of
Right, right.
like we normally have. Um, and there was a streaker, I guess a kind of streaker on the field,
Love it.
but this guy's story is crazy. So did you read about this?
No,
Okay, so
nothing.
him and another friend decided that they were going to run on the field. This was more towards the end of the game. So, like, the football players were just like, seriously, dude. But this guy apparently bet like some like $40,000 or something like that, that there would be a streaker on the field. Then him and his friend ran on the field because you can bet on stuff like that on the Super Bowl, like
Okay.
random things. Like if someone would mess up the national anthem or something, like
Right,
random
right.
things that happen. So he bet that there would be a streaker on the field, and his friend went first, and then he went and ran on the field. So then he ended up winning like $400,000 off of this bet that he made because he was the streaker.
Does he get to keep it? I feel like that's not fair.
He had to pay $1,000 to get out of jail.
Okay. That's funny.
But I feel bad for these security guards whenever there's like a streaker on the field because they're like chasing after them. I feel
Yeah.
so bad because they always end up falling and they're always like really big guys.
Yes.
I feel really bad that they have to chase after these,
I feel like that used to happen all the time at Phillies games. I don't know
Yeah,
why I think that. Like maybe it happens all the time at all sporting events, but like I just went to a lot of Phillies games. I don't.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, and last but not least, obviously the Buccaneers won, and Tom Brady is getting shit faced. So there is that's him.
Oh my
In
gosh, I didn't even know that. I thought
Yeah,
that was the
that
streaker getting out of jail.
yeah, that's him in Florida, um, shit faced during their like boat parade celebration. There's also a video of him throwing the Super Bowl trophy from one boat to a guy at another boat. It's it's interesting.
So something else that isn't mentioned here, but I feel like I've seen a ton of articles about is all the like parties that did not look safe.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
what was going on down there?
Well, yeah, I'm curious to see like what happens with Florida because they
Yeah.
just had the Super Bowl, and yeah, there's like I know there was a lot of like
Well, that's what I was
bachelor
going to say. It
people at
wouldn't
like
even
clubs in
just
Florida.
it wouldn't even just be Florida because a lot of people flew in for the
Yeah, and
event,
I was
went to
wondering
like
that too,
huge
like how
parties and then
that
flew back out. It's crazy.
yeah. Yeah, there's like how do you even track that at that point?
Yeah.
Um because yeah, feel like I had talked about that with someone before. Like if you go somewhere and then you get it, but you go back home, like your stat goes to your state, right?
It goes to
Not,
wherever you're treated, right? Wherever the test happens, I would think.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Because
But
that's,
most
I
likely
can't see
that's
how
going to
they
be at
record it.
home,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
in Florida. So like,
exactly.
how do
Because
you
it's going to be
even,
7 days later or
yeah,
whatever.
it's the craziness of contact tracing, but
Yeah.
it's
Glad I'm
like
not in
crazy
charge
to
of
think.
that.
I know, right? Nope.
Feel bad for
Um,
them.
but yeah, no, I saw that stuff too. Just it looks like I'm like, what was like?
Yeah, and like some of the things were like videos, and there's like hundreds of people in a
Mhm,
club, like
mhm.
no masks. I don't know.
Just gives me anxiety now.
Yeah, like who am I to say? All right. I don't know if you care about this at all,
I
but
do. I like Aaron Rodgers, but I liked him when he was with Olivia Munn. And
okay.
then they broke up.
And then he
And
was with Danica Patrick,
yeah,
and now he's dating Shailene Woodley, and I don't know if it was like accidentally announced that they're engaged. He was accepting the award for like MVP
hmm
and thanked his fiance,
I
and
think
everyone
he
was
said
like,
like I'm engaged. Like he was
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about 2020 and how weird it was, and he was like, and I'm engaged.
yeah.
And everyone's
So
like, to who?
yeah, because they'd never actually even officially confirmed that they were even dating. So I think that's
hmm
why a lot of people thought it was like wild. But yeah,
Yeah,
she
and they
seems
haven't
so
been dating
weird to
that
me.
long either.
No, because that's what they were saying, that he was dating Danica Patrick at like the beginning of like quarantine.
Yeah, yeah, that they apparently broke up in the summer. Like that's when it was, reported that they broke up in the summer. So they don't really know how long, I guess 6 months.
I think I read though that they had dated before that too.
Shailene?
Yeah, he
Okay,
and Shailene maybe dated also between Olivia Munn and Danica
okay,
Patrick.
gotcha.
So I mean, I guess if you've dated before, like it can move a little quicker,
Yeah,
maybe.
that's true.
Oh.
Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens with this and if like any of them like officially say that they're engaged to each other,
Right,
or if
right.
it's just like what?
And then just because I always think these things are like wild in Hollywood, kind of like the whole like people forget that like Cameron Diaz and Nicole Richie are sisters-in-law. So
hmm
this would make Shailene Woodley and JoJo from The Bachelorette sisters-in-law.
Yes, but you know that Aaron Rodgers is not,
Right, they're not on speaking terms, right?
yeah, like he is like kind of like separated from his family completely. Like he
Mhm.
doesn't talk to any of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So they'll be sisters-in-laws, but I don't think they'll be communicating.
Okay. But speaking of
Yeah.
Bachelorette, so this is what I was saying is like rapidly unfolding.
Okay.
So the actual like Rachel issue is not rapidly unfolding. That's been coming out since like the first
Yeah.
week of the season.
hmm
So
Like girls she went to high school like
right
blew up
away,
that,
yeah,
right?
girls that she went to high school with started calling her out because she apparently used to like mock and make fun of girls that dated black men
hmm
in her high school class. And then people were like, went through her past and pulled out like everything, pictures of her dressed up, I think as recently as like June of
Okay.
2020, as either like indigenous people or going to like old South themed frat parties, which like we were talking about this in like the group text today because we were obviously in a sorority and went to
Obviously.
obviously problematically themed frat parties. So,
Yeah.
but we weren't quite familiar with what an old South themed one was, but it sounds terrible. It sounds like it was really not appropriate. And definitely not appropriate in 2020.
Yeah.
So but so she hadn't spoken about it at all, like none at all. And then what day is today? 2 days ago, Chris Harrison got interviewed by Rachel Lindsay, and
hmm
she was asking him about it, and he really sort of like, you could tell he was just trying to be like the nice guy that's not gonna shit on anyone, but he
Mhm.
definitely said all the wrong things. Like
Okay.
he called her like this poor girl, not what you should say.
Yeah.
I mean, the ultimate, when you got down to like the bare bones of his message, what he was
Mhm.
trying to say was just like, she's young and give her time to figure out what she's gonna say,
Mhm.
was what he was saying. But like, he tried to make loads of excuses for her, and
Huh.
it wasn't good. So then he released this apology because it was like very offensive, the stuff he was saying,
Huh.
today. Then
Okay.
later today, about an hour ago, Rachel did finally release a statement.
Rachel Kirkconnell.
Kirkconnell, yes.
Okay.
And I have to say, like, as far as apology statements go, it's a pretty decent one. She
Okay.
does not at any point in it try to make an excuse. She
Okay.
just says like not like, I was young and I didn't know better. She was like, I was wrong.
Hmm.
I will do better. So like, I feel like that's good. That's like a good step in the right direction.
Mhm.
And then literally, like, you texted me, I'm on, I'm ready. And I was reading a statement that the 25 bachelorettes from this season that are women of color released a combined statement about Chris Harrison's statements. Just saying that, like, yeah, like, they're not thrilled. They don't stand for anything he's saying. They don't like what he was saying, kind of thing.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's like, it's like rapidly unfolding right now. And I think the reason why, not the reason, because it, like, the stuff, like, if the stuff she said and did is true, like, it's bad.
Mhm.
um I also was an asshole as a high schooler and said
Mhm.
and did awful things that I shouldn't have. Doesn't make it okay at all.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad she didn't say like, oh, I was young, I didn't know better. Like, she really did like own up to it.
Mhm.
But spoiler, but not spoiler, but also like guessing at a spoiler. I think the reason why it's even more of a big deal is because the spoiler that's going around is that she wins the season. She ends up
Really?
with Matt. Yeah.
Huh.
Which makes it all the more problematic, I think, right? Like,
Well, yeah, and like for him, I'm like curious to see if he's gonna say anything.
well, and that's what, so then you're getting like, first of all, it's all just speculation whether or not she wins. There's still weeks left. We don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it's Reality Steve, and he's
Okay.
almost always right. He's been saying it's her.
Okay.
And there's then people that are saying that they are still together, and then other people that are saying that Matt's since broken up with her since all this stuff's been coming out.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's wild. Like, could you even imagine thinking like, and I'd like, they would never have been able to have that like conversation during filming. Like, look, I was an asshole when I was 16.
Yeah, I feel like it's
But I
just
mean, even not even 16, because if she was still
I mean, like I
dressing
was
in
an asshole
costumes in
6 months ago.
2010.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
what
like,
are you saying?
yeah.
Um, so this is so interesting. I feel like I'm curious to see what happens with Chris Harrison too.
Hmm. Well,
Like,
they're already talking about kicking him off.
yeah, because I mean, he's been with The Bachelor since, and like, everything within that franchise since it
I'm pretty sure
started.
he's like an executive producer too, right?
Yeah.
Like, not just host.
Yeah, so I'm really curious like what this means for his role in The Bachelor, at
Yeah,
least as a host. And because I'm sure he could stay on as a producer from some level and then just like take his face off of it
yeah.
if everyone's in an uproar. And
And like, just to jump in and say, like, rightfully so. Like, I was listening to what he was saying and being like what? Like,
yeah,
no.
I'll have to listen to it. I knew that like I knew the stuff from a few weeks ago about her like coming out about like what the girls she went to high school with were saying, but I didn't know about all this.
Yeah,
Um,
then like the college stuff started coming out. Oh, and then the other layer of it is that her parents are big time like Trump supporters and gave a
mhm,
lot of money to his reelection. So
mhm,
also in her statement, she did also say that like her political beliefs don't align with her parents. She didn't come right out and say that.
mhm.
And that was the only like two lines in it that I was like, that could be tricky and interpreted oddly, but I think this is what she's trying to say. She said something like, my parents raised me to have my own set of beliefs and values, and my beliefs and values don't align with my parents, or something like
Huh,
that.
interesting.
So I think that was her trying to say, like, say without saying that
Yeah,
she doesn't like approve that they were like donating to Trump's campaign.
yeah. Okay, well, developing story. We'll stay
Yeah.
on it.
And then clearly we're going to talk about Britney, but when
Yeah,
we talk about shows, because we watched the doc, right?
I didn't.
You didn't? What?
I
Okay.
know. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
All right.
Okay. So we had two posts go live on the blog in the past 2 weeks. One this past week was Happy Galentine's Day, which is this Saturday, February 13th,
13th,
12th,
yes.
13th. I'm like, what day is it? Um, so Heather wrote up a great post about how to celebrate the gals in your life, and she gives a little tribute to someone special for her. And you did a DIY Lego table, so tell us about it.
I mean, there's not much to say. We built a Lego table for Christmas for the kids. And when I started posting pictures of it at Christmas time, people were like asking like where we got it, how we did it, and everything. So just kind of put together like all the things that we ordered to put it together and how we did it. And it was really easy. Yeah, that's it.
Is it still a fan favorite in the house?
Yeah, I mean, the kids use it all the time. They're in Legos 24/7, basically.
Yeah, nice. So check those out. And up next is what we watched and read.
All right, we'll do Brittany last, right?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll go first. I finished the third book of the Bridgerton series.
Jeez,
An
slow down.
offer, I know, An Offer from a Gentleman, which is a story about Benedict, the second brother. The second book about Antony is still my favorite. I did like Benedict. It has kind of like a Cinderella-y kind of vibe to this one, but it was really good. So I did, after reading 2 and 3, I am now going back and I'm reading 1 for our book club.
Yes.
Um,
Which do we? No, we don't meet next Wednesday. 2 Wednesdays from now, we're gonna meet
Yes.
for book club.
So I'm listening to that now so that I'm ready for book club. But I'm excited to continue on the series. You are right. The book 1 about Daphne is different already. Like I'm only
Very
like a
different,
few
right?
chapters in and it's already very different.
Yeah. So I finally got book 2 in the mail, so I can start it soon.
Ooh.
I'm trying to finish up the book that I talked about 2 weeks ago, the one that's like essays from Kazi David. I'm
Hmm.
finishing that. I'm almost done it. It's funny. A plus would recommend. And then I'm gonna do the Viscount Who Loved Me.
That one's so good.
Also, I
Yeah.
read the whole first book, and it was like the new cover with like the
Hmm.
characters from Netflix on it. Looks more
Yeah.
modern, updated. Mike said nothing about it. I get the Viscount Who Loved Me in the mail, and Mike's like, what is this like mom porn? Like, how do you know that's what he is? He's like, from the cover.
Yeah. Yeah. The covers of the rest of the series have not been updated yet. And they do look, I think we talked about this. They
Yeah,
look
they look like.
real 90s, even though they were written in the 2000s. They've got that, yeah, Danielle Steele vibe to it.
Yeah. So wait,
Um,
what's this other book? Because that's a cool cover.
it was so good. Okay, so a girl I work with gave this to me. I read the physical book because I usually like have a book on my nightstand that I read at night before I go to bed. So I read this one, total page turner, not something I would typically choose for myself because it is like a thriller, suspenseful. It's like pretty effed up, like the book. Um, it's about like this famous writer who has written this like series, and she's written the first two books and she has two more books to write, and something happens to her and they're bringing this author on to help finish the series. So the author, like this is written by the author, like in the, the perspective of the new author that comes on. And like while she's trying to like figure out how to continue this series, she learns about everything about what happened to this author that she's taking over for, and it's just like crazy. It's so crazy. It's really good, but it's not something I would ever read because it is like dark and really crazy. But it was like, but I read it in a week. I read it.
Now I'm super curious. I want to read it.
Yeah.
Wait, is this the one you had mentioned that there was a book you were going to send me? Is this?
No, that was a different one.
Oh, okay. Because this sounds like something I'd be into.
Okay, you'd be into this one?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that would, if you're like into that type of stuff, then check it out.
Okay, so I'm watching Nashville. I have been for maybe like 2 weeks now.
Okay.
As always, I'm also still working my way through ER. We're on season 11 for your ER update. And watching Bachelor one night a week. And so then I started watching Nashville because I like once Mike goes to bed, I need something to watch. And it's actually like funny how parts of this kind of tie in with like the whole Britney thing with Hayden Panettiere's character is sort of like the young singer, wears lots of glitter, people kind of like objectify her. But I'm only like 2/3 of the way through the first season, and there's like 6 or 7 or 8 seasons. I forget how many. The acting's really bad. Like Hayden Panettiere is a terrible
I feel like I watched like episodes here and there of it.
Yeah, it's like a soap opera acting level, I'd say. But occasionally there's really good music.
Okay.
So I'll keep watching probably.
My friend Maggie, when we went to Nashville for her bachelorette party, we stayed at the house that is in this show.
Whose though? Because there's a couple houses you see regularly.
I think it's who's like the main guy?
Deacon?
I'll have to look it up.
Okay.
But it was like right on the river, really cool. Like
nice.
A long, big porch with like, 12 rocking chairs on the back.
Oh, wow.
Really pretty. But that was like how she found it.
Oh, how fun. I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Framing Britney. I didn't watch it yet because I didn't realize it was on Hulu, and I got rid of Hulu. So I've been a little spiteful that I'll have to get it back to watch this, but I'm willing to do it. I
feel like I've heard you can watch it on YouTube.
Really?
Have you tried? So here's the thing. When this came out, I think a lot of people thought it was going to be like one of those like 6-part Netflix documentaries. It's not. It's one episode in a series from FX. FX does like a whole bunch of these, and the episode itself is only like an hour and 15 minutes.
Really? Okay.
So yeah, like you don't have to throw away your life to watch this.
Okay.
But my biggest takeaway, because I've listened to quite a few different like podcast episodes about like all the Free Britney stuff. Nothing there was new for me. Like everything in that end, I knew. What was more eye-opening to me was how awful she was treated from like basically the time she turned, I'd say like 20 maybe, until the conservatorship. Like
by who? Like everyone?
Public. And I guess when we were like living in it and it was just the way the time was, you didn't think about how awful the questions people were asking her in interviews were. Like, straight up ask her, like, if her boobs were fake, if she had sex with Justin Timberlake. Like, it's just bonkers what was okay then to think
Mhm.
about. And, like, real journalists like Diane Sawyer asking her these kinds of things, like, not
Huh.
like David Letterman. Like,
Yeah.
it's just,
Like
I
a
think,
late night
yeah.
comedian.
And then we've talked before when we did a whole long talk on the whole Britney thing about how I don't know how we didn't all connect. Like, this woman has postpartum. Like,
Mhm.
all of this started going down when her youngest was 2 months old.
Mhm.
Like, how did, I mean, I know
And
how
that
we
was
did.
after having like one baby right after the other.
Yes.
Right?
Her kids, I think, have the same birthday 1 year apart, or they might be like one day apart,
Oh
but
wow.
like a year apart. Um, yeah, so two kids back to back, and then
Mhm.
2 months after the second one is born, uh, her and K-Fed split because of cheating rumors on his
Mhm.
part, and then he filed for sole custody, and she filed for sole custody. Like, I'd be freaking out too. Like, that's
Yeah.
what I don't. Yeah, I think that's the part, like, that nobody was talking about, that it was postpartum related at all. Mike built a patio on our house when Liam
Uh-huh.
was like 2 weeks old.
Uh-huh. Okay, I was trying to figure out what you were doing. I was like, how is this related?
And I was like ragey about it. Like, I could not imagine my husband leaving me.
Well, yeah, like
Like,
you're
that's,
okay. Not only is he cheating, he wants to take your children away from you.
yeah, it's like, duh. Like, did anyone think any mother, if she didn't react this way, there'd be a problem? And
Yeah.
then what the documentary also does is it does a really good job of framing, like, how intense the paparazzi were.
Hmm.
Because people start saying she was a bad mom because she'd be like holding her kids in the car
Hmm.
instead of like having them in the car seat. And it's like, she's completely surrounded by paparazzi. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like everyone else like created this environment around her for this all to happen. It almost feels like.
Yeah. And then when it was like when she reacted, how a normal person would react
They were all like,
in that
Britney's
circumstance. Like, yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
yeah. Huh. Interesting. So I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Okay.
Um,
And that's what I had texted you. I think, like, I would have watched a 6-part documentary. Like, I think they could have given more detail about every aspect of it. But because it's a regular running show and like their episodes are a certain length, it was
yeah.
on the shorter
Well,
side.
and now like things are starting to come out.
Yes. And that's
Celebrities are stepping up and saying things. Her
her
boyfriend
boyfriend
posted
finally,
something on
yes, said something.
Instagram, just basically saying he hates her dad and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um,
And then the courts,
she had a
uh,
court date
yeah, and I
today.
think that was moved up. I based on pressure. And when I sent you that article, because the
Mhm.
headline really made it seem like her dad was like kicked out, but he
Yes.
wasn't. What happened was back in August, they put a co-conservator. Okay, her dad is the conservator of her body and her finances.
Hmm.
Any, like, having a conservator of her finances does kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Having a conservator of her body is not necessary at this point. Like, that should
Bizarre.
definitely go. I think they're working on that. Now, back in August, she wanted to set like a financial institution as the conservator of her
Hmm.
finance. And they did a court hearing and they decided that instead of just getting rid of her dad, they'd make them co-conservators of her finances. And so this like hearing today had something to do with her dad wanted to be like above the financial institution and basically like tell it what to do, and the
Yeah.
judge just said like, no, you're equal parts, you both have to
Yeah.
agree on everything. So it's not like that crazy big of a thing that like the headlines I think were trying to make it seem, but it's definitely a step in the right direction, and it's a step where she's getting some wins. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, and I think there's another court date in a month, it said.
Yeah, something
So
else going on in March.
yeah, so we'll see what's
Hopefully.
next.
Yeah.
And like hopefully all of this publicity that is now coming out like in support of her and just kind of like uncovering that she probably is okay to have control over her body.
I know. That's the most appalling part because yeah, like I think that I heard on one of the podcasts that I've listened to since that at that time she was spending money too much.
Mhm.
So like the documentary didn't get into that too much because then it turns into like, oh, well, maybe she should have had a conservatorship. So
Mhm.
like the money thing is not absurd to have a
Mhm.
financial institution that's also helping you manage your money. Like that's
Yeah, and
fine.
I
But
don't think that's uncommon in like Hollywood to have someone that's like overseeing your finances for you
yeah,
and saying like you need to this is how much you can spend this month like
yeah.
basically, you know.
But the conservator of her body, like that's just come on. She's a completely healthy, like 30, 9-year-old woman. Like,
Yeah,
mm-mm,
it's
mm-mm.
crazy.
Yeah.
People at work were saying that there's a doc on Brittany Murphy that I
Yes.
think you would probably like if you haven't watched it already.
I think I may have watched it.
Yeah.
It's not brand new, right?
No, but it goes over like it talks about like basically how she was raised in the spotlight and like how her like life was just in shambles and how like her relationship with her mom and how messed up it was.
Yeah.
Apparently her mom slept with her husband.
Yeah, I've read or listened to some podcasts about how weird that was after everything happened.
Yeah.
Because then her mom stayed living with her husband and then the husband died. Yeah, it's weird. There's some weird shit going on there.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, on a lighter
Who
note.
are we following?
Okay, so this week I decided to shout out E. Holmes. Her name's Elizabeth Holmes. Her grid here is not going to show you anything that's like crazy awesome. You have to go into her stories. She's like one of those ones where like the stories are what like makes it. So she is like a fashion commentator and she usually breaks down royal fashion.
Ooh.
And so, I mean, I've been following her, I think, since Kate and William got married. Maybe a little after that, because I don't think Instagram was like that big that long ago. Was it? I don't know.
I
But
don't think
anyway, so anytime they're doing like a royal tour or there's a royal event, she'll like take images, show you like the image, and then give you like all the information about like the fashion because especially with the royals, there's always like hidden meanings behind
Mhm.
things, like why they picked a specific designer, like
Mhm.
what's embroidered, like all that kind of stuff. But now since the inauguration, she's been doing it with like American political fashion too.
Ooh.
So she had like this crazy awesome, whole thing when with like all of the women's fashion at the inauguration too. And then even just at the trial yesterday, I forget who it was that had like that really awesome like cape jacket.
Oh yeah, it was one of the representatives.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
you're
yeah. I can't even think of what the term is for what her position was in the trial right now. It's like escaping my mind. But
Mhm.
yeah, so go into her stories, simple handle. It's just E. Holmes. Right before she lays out a whole bunch of stuff about an outfit, she always puts the same thing. What is it? Like I've got thoughts or something like that. That's not what it is. So many thoughts, so many thoughts. And then the next screen is like, you have to hold it down. The next screen is like nothing but like typing. And she also just pretty recently came out with a book that's a New York Times bestseller that is all about royal fashion. But one of the things that was the most interesting was that Jill Biden's dress for like what would have been the inaugural ball, but like the
Mhm.
inaugural night concert had different flowers embroidered on it
I read
from,
about this, like
yes,
all the
from,
embroidery.
yeah, from all of the different states. And
Mhm.
and she said that that was like a nod to, I think it was Queen Elizabeth's wedding dress had the same thing. It had flowers on it, or maybe it was her veil embroidered from all of the different, like, they don't call them states there, but like commonwealths.
Hmm.
So it's sort of like a nod to that.
Yeah, and I think with Joe Biden's, I think they said like the Delaware was like over her heart.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was, I read something about that. Um, my
Oh,
account.
wait, one other thing that I thought was cool that she said was that Kamala Harris, her jacket
Hmm.
at the inauguration. So like when you put on a woman's jacket, it buttons right over left, right? But
Okay.
men's jackets button left over right because they used to like put their sword in and pull it out with their right hand.
Hmm.
So she had her jacket specifically tailored the men's way
Huh.
for the inauguration as sort of like a taking back the power kind of like,
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
watch out for my sword.
Yeah.
First.
Okay, go ahead. Just Jared. Let's do this.
So I feel like I started following this one recently just for like good celeb gossip and up to date gossip and news. Not news, like celeb
Real
news.
news.
Um, but yeah, it's a good one. They have like tons of stuff that they're posting daily. If you want to see Tom Brady wasted, go on this one because they have tons
I'm
of
gonna.
videos. Um, but they're always posting something about what's going on with celebs.
So now that I know that that picture in the beginning was Tom Brady with like a shit-eating grin on his face, and I'm seeing him here now in like the same outfit, I
Mhm.
feel like he looks almost like Weekend at Bernie's-ish. Like he should just be like not conscious and be like drug around like
Well, if you watch the video of, I think it's like the other player Gronkowski that's like walking him out of the bar where like the gates were, like
yeah.
he's like literally like holding him, walking him. He's that drunk. But I guess if you win the Super
Man,
Bowl for the seventh time, that's
right?
what you do. And you live in Florida, that's what
Yeah.
you do.
Okay. And last but not least, our favorite memes of the week.
So this was my favorite one, not only because I love mashed potatoes, but I like totally get that feeling of being at a restaurant and having this happen.
I just wrote
So
it.
the post is quiet, laid back men. Why do you go for loud, fiery women? And then someone, I guess, like retweeted or replied to her and said, someone got to tell the waiter I ordered mashed potatoes and it ain't gonna be me.
I like that one. That is very good.
Yeah. And what's yours?
Okay, so my favorite meme of the week said, having been told that it's rude to call dinner gross, our 4-year-old is finding increasingly creative ways to express himself. Quote, these taste unlucky to me. This sends my mouth into outer space. That's bad. Cauliflower is pinches fingers together this much delicious. So this one made me laugh because my kids actually do this. They say, this is not delicious to me. And I'm always like, delicious is the standard we're going for with every meal. Can we like lower the bar a bit? But yeah, because they would also say like, this is yucky, this is gross. And we told them it was rude. And now I get, this is not delicious.
Yeah, my sister was sharing this one today too, and Jackson does the same thing, and he's also 4 years old. He likes to say disgusting a lot, but we tell him same thing. Like you can't just, that's not nice to say disgusting. Like that your meal's disgusting because it's not also. Um, and his new thing is like saying like my belly doesn't like this or my belly's telling me that I don't like this.
At least he's in touch with his feelings and his body.
So I feel this too because it's, happening every night in our house.
Every freaking night. Yeah. If it's not pizza or chicken nuggets, it's every night.
Well, thanks for joining us for another week of Mom Chats. We'll be back next week with whatever's happening out in the world. So be sure to check out our posts and subscribe so you get our posts in your inbox first thing in the morning. See ya.